the Kaepernick situation, man, I was with him. A lot of people wanted to be with him as well, but we understand that our money at that time would have couldn't have stretched as far as Kaepernick maybe could have. A lot of us was no $100 million player and signed at that time, and this is our way of life. Right. And at that time, the owners was kind of like, okay, if let's just be on the bottom of the, roster and stuff like that, you better come very correct, because at that time you might be cut.
Real life. If that shit ain't real life,
it ain't real life. Just say real life street stars. You know what time it is. Real life street stars, man. We in here with, I deem as a legend because he was a Cowboy. My boy JJ Wilcox in the building, man.
What's good, man? What's good? Feel good to be back in D-Town, man.
Oh, you say back? Well, you was gone?
Yeah, man. I stay in Atlanta.
Okay.
I'm up in Atlanta, man.
Georgia boy
up and down, bro. Yeah. But Texas, though, man. Texas, they got a soft spot in my heart, man. I love Dallas, man. It's always love.
Man, I definitely feel like when it comes to football, Georgia, Texas, and California be like the three states that stand out.
Oh, yeah, and Florida.
Yeah, my bad. Can't forget Florida.
Can't forget Florida. But yeah, Georgia and Texas, man, they got some great football, man. Real great football, bro.
Man, so, it's you. I think you might have been you're the second Cowboy that's been on the couch. But we don't get a lot of sports people, and we've been trying to tap in with the sports world, man.
Yeah.
And, like I said, it's an honor to have you on the couch, man. We appreciate your time. But for those who don't know JJ Wilcox's story, man, just give us a brief history before we get into it.
Yeah, man. If you don't know much about JJ, man, it's a small town kid, man, from Cairo, Georgia. Cairo population is about 10,000. I grew up with both my mom and my dad. My mom and dad was both hard workers. My mom worked 2 to 3 jobs. My dad did what he could, as far as, driving semi-trucks and doing different things. Then I grew up with my little sister. And man, we was very tight. It was just us four. A small house, man, middle to low class income people, trying to survive in a small rural area, man. So, and I love football. I got pictures of me, man, when I was 1 to 2 years old. My dad played. And so, way of life and the way that I kind of vision myself, man, I just love to play football, and it's something to take me away from all the chaos that was around me, man. And my mom and dad did a great job of sheltering me, giving me everything that I needed, plus more to help me get to where I'm at now, man. But just a small town kid, man, that love football, love family, love, doing outdoors things and everything like that, man. I just wanted to have a better life than what I was, kind of where I was raised up in the environment that I was from, man. So just a small nutshell. That's kind of, JJ kind of in a sense of a little bit of background.
Now, like in Texas, man, as a dad, right? Because I'm sure we're all parents here, and you go to the games, and you always see that one kid that just stick way out. You're like, he just way colder than everybody. Was that you growing up, or did you have to kind of grow into that?
No, man, I was kind of the kid that was always kind of overlooked. I was kind of the one that was always, like I said, I didn't mature until my senior year in high school, man. So I didn't even start to my senior year in high school. Oh. So my story and path, I can relate to a lot of people that's been overlooked or just late bloomers. I was a late bloomer, man. So I was the one that was just trying to figure out a way to get on the field. If it was just standing out the practice, catching some extra footballs, or balling out on scout teams so I could get a look and get some extra reps in the game time. But now I was the one. I had a lot of other great players around me, man, that was really talented.
Who were some of the people you played with?
I played with, man, back in my era in high school, I had a running back named Reginald Bryant, man. Real good running back, man. Like I told him all the time, when I got to the league, he was the one that I could see easily doing it. Angelo Pease, one of our top quarterbacks, and in the high school division in that year, man, was top notch as well too. So we had some cats down there, man. With some real cats down there in South Georgia. With some real good football down there.
Now, growing up in the hood, or just growing up general, there's always that one kid that you see that you like, he going to the league, but something happens. He either goes left with drugs, or he goes left doing some gangster shit, goes to jail. Do you have anybody that you was like, oh man, I just know he finna make it, but then something detoured his life?
Yeah, man, I know a couple cats like that. And there's no offense to that. Like I said, in the way that we grew up, man, it ain't too many of us really making out of there, man. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, stuff changes. You never know livelihood, what they needed to do to make some income from what they had in their circumstance. So I know a couple cats like that, man, that was really just talented, but they were just so talented that the work ethic, once you get to certain levels, man, you got to take that work ethic and take it to a different level. Talent only get you so far. but you got to have the heart, that discipline, and sacrifice to get you to those elite levels where you have to get, man. And I think that's some of the tantrums and the characteristics that get overlooked. You get what I'm saying? As you know, you can be talented all day, but the talent is, you know, people gonna catch up with you talent-wise, and then it's gonna come down to heart and how bad you want it.
Right. So coming out of high school, you were planning to be a walk-on, and then you got an offer from Georgia?
Yep, Georgia Southern.
That's crazy,
Yeah,
man. So that had to feel real good, right? Like, you just like, well, shit, I'm gonna just be a walk-on and actually get an acceptance. Take me through that emotional journey. Like you said, you was the underdog, and then now you're starting to see your success to somebody actually saying, no, we want you on our program.
Right.
Like, how does that feel?
I mean, it felt great. It actually, I went to a wide receiver camp going into my senior year. And at this wide receiver camp, Coach Ron Dugans is a guy, man, that I love and have a lot of respect for. He's the wide receiver coach at Florida State right now. He was kind of the main guys at that wide receiver camp. And I went there and I came in first place in the wide receiver camp. And he said, I'm gonna follow you, man. You know, I know you don't have a lot of fam. I know you're not even a starter yet, but I like what you did. I like the way you came in here to compete. I like the heart you came in with, some of the tangibles you have as an athlete. We like it, and I'm gonna follow you. And man, I stuck on that and ran with it, man. You know, I had a great season that year, had a couple of touchdowns in the state championship game. I was playing both ways, so I was versatile. You know, I wasn't somebody that was limited and was coming as a liability. And man, I just grinded, man. I just put my head down that year and grinded. Had a couple of offers from Western Kentucky, Valdosta State, some other schools. And then I had 2 recruit visits to go to Samford University, which is in Birmingham. And then I had Georgia Southern too. And I went to Samford first, and they was the first one to offer me, you know, come in as a recruit and come in and do a visit. And I went there and it was a blast, man. But, you know, Samford was good. It was 4 hours away going to Birmingham from my small town. I didn't know anybody there. So I said, let me go to Georgia Southern, man. And I went to Georgia Southern, man, and my parents and the brothers that I met there, from Darius Eubanks to Josh Rowe and those guys, man, we came in as a recruit and we said, we're gonna take this university and make it nationally known, man. And we put our heart and love into it, and that's when I kind of committed to Georgia Southern. But at that time, it was a package deal because they wanted my quarterback at that time, Angelo Peace. They wanted a D tackle and an outside linebacker, but these guys, you know, they wanted to go to Kansas State and all these big teams. So I was like, I'll come. Even if they don't want to come, I'm still gonna come up. And from there, man, it was the best move I ever did, to be honest with you. So that's kind of how I got there. Didn't really have a lot of looks. Like I said, I committed to Samford. I was just ready to get out of Cairo. So wherever I can go. And then Georgia Southern was like, hold on, we might make some work for you. You know what I'm saying? Just come up here and work out for us. Well, I'll make sure that we at least give you a good opportunity. And at that point in time, as a senior, 1 year senior guy, man, I just need the opportunity. And that's a message for a lot of people, a lot of youth today, man, is just capitalize on the opportunity. If you get one shot, maybe take it, man, and run with it. So.
How was your first game in college?
First game in college, man, I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous. Excuse my language. I was nervous, man. I was nervous as hell, man, especially with the stage like that. Some of my people coming up to see me play on a big stage. It was cool, man. Like I say, it was fun. I had a lot of good fun at Georgia Southern, man. The crowd is crazy, electric, man. And to get a chance to play some of the boys that I had just literally signed with, and to get a chance to go out there and play, man, it was great. It was live. It was kind of everything that I anticipated. The first couple snaps, I was nervous, you know, to go against the D1 talent in the sense. I was like, man, small time for Cairo. I only had a couple of weeks in training. Then you had training camp, and then it was the first game. And the first game we had was a big game, big Division I game. So it was cool, man. It was fun. It was everything that I dreamed of. Like I said, big adrenaline rush for sure. So.
Now, I got to ask you this, right? When in college, right? One thing that we see in college is that locker room.
Yeah.
When they turning up with their music. At the time, who was the artist that used to just get y'all hype, man, to go out there and go crazy?
Ooh, that was that 09, 12 era. It was a lot of good, man. You had Wayne with the dedications. Yeah, you had Waka Flocka coming out.
Yeah,
Waka Flocka. Yeah, Waka Flocka. And then I grew up on Pastor Troy.
Oh, yeah,
Pastor Troy, down South Georgia boy. Yeah. So all that good stuff. So Pastor Troy for sure was one of mine. Yeah. Jeezy.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go on. Future was coming out. He was in that young Future stage, mixtapes and Molly World and all that good stuff. So I definitely say like Lil Jon and crunk music with Lil Wayne with dedication, and Waka Flocka, Chief Keef. Yeah. That area definitely got us in the mood we needed to, man, to go out here and take care of business.
Now I got a detour. When you heard Pastor Troy go in on the No Limit.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts, bro? 'Cause that was just a wild beef for me,
Yeah,
bro.
I mean, he stood up, man. He stood up for the South, man. He was like, hey, we get it. Well, y'all ain't the only ones out here making good music and making stuff like that, but he had to let it be known them down South Georgia boys came to represent, bro. So I loved it, man. It was good. I think it was the push and stuff we needed. 'Cause, man, Pastor Troy, man, he's a legend back my way, man. I listen to his music all the time, so.
Yeah.
He was one of the goats. When he did that, I felt like, hey, man, okay, we push it back, man. You know what I'm saying? We ain't just gonna let y'all just come in here and just, take all the publicity. We make some noise down here too. So I feel like it was great.
Now, man, with the surgence of the NIL, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to take it back to like when you was in college and imagine that everybody on the team had an NIL deal. Do you think that team would have worked? And what is your thoughts on NIL? It's a two-part question.
I'm for it. I hated waited till after I left to finally get a chance to get in there.
Right.
I felt like, man, I could have, somebody, like I say, from my area and time could have really used to put that.
Right.
But I know God don't make no mistakes, man, and all that good stuff. So I knew it was the timing for it. I'm for it, but I don't want it to take away from football. And I feel like sometimes it does. I feel like people get a chance to kind of quit. People say transfer this, and I feel like it's quitting, man. Because at the end of the day, if I start something, I'm the type of person I like to finish. I'm old school. You know what I'm saying? So the NIL deal, I think it's great to take care of people. Take care of your people. I think it need to come with some things, literacy and different stuff like that, because, I mean, when you get money, it's a lot of stuff that come throw it at you. And I can imagine having a pocket full of money, 18, 19 years old, walk around a college campus.
Hey, let's talk So let's talk about some of the temptations.
Yeah.
Walk me through, like, as a person that's 18 on a football team in college, like, realistically, what are the expectations? I mean, not expectations. What are some of the temptations that come along with that?
It's a lot, man. You got to think, we ain't got no curfew. Your mom and dad ain't there with you to take a look after you. I mean, you ain't got nobody really checking on you. I get to come in any time of the night I want to. I get to hang out as long as I want to. I get to do kind of, in a sense, kind of everything you ever dreamed of once you go off to being an adult. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of temptation, man. And it's tough. It's tough because you can get lost. I know a lot of players that came there and then they finished and left the first year, the first semester, and different stuff like that. So it's a lot of stuff to get lost in, man. It's a lot of temptations, but it's kind of like life in general. You get to make those decisions, make those choices and turns, and you're going to make some mistakes along the way, man. But having your good circle and a good, like I say, with the right mindset to go in there, hey, man, I know why I'm here. And my mom and dad, you tell me all the time, know why you're there, son. You know what I'm saying? You're here to better your life, to get education, and to play the dream sport that you always wanted to do. So don't lose sight of that. And I think once you put that in the forefront, it makes things a lot easier.
So you're a two-way player in college.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that made you more smarter on the field? Did give you more awareness of what the wide receiver was going to do against you, what a DB would do against you?
I think it gave me some advantages. It gave me some advantages because I get to see things from a two-way perspective. I get to see things from an offensive perspective when I play receiver and running back. And then when I went to defense, I had a chance to know what offenses was trying to do to defenses. And that kind of gave me an advantage with my defensive stuff because I kind of knew how offense wanted to attack.
Right.
So it worked perfectly. And also, my ball skills from offense helped me as a DB. They say DBs don't have a lot of ball skills or athletic. I beg different. You know what I'm saying? It's because you could take a good receiver and just train him up smallly at the safety position, and he can go get the ball like your Ed Reeds and different things like that and attack the ball and understand leverages and angles and where the offense is trying to attack. So I think it played a huge dividend in not also me getting, drafted, but also just understanding football IQ as well, too.
Man, so we have there's a guy named Travis Hunter on Colorado.
Yeah. Who's that cat, man?
Man, he's like one of the most remarkable players I've seen in a long time because you see him beast on offense and D. Like, he's almost equally as talented. So I got a two-part question for you, right? Because you went in and you was multifaceted, but you went in as a safety. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give him? Like, if you were in Travis Hunter's position, what would you tell him? Should he focus on one position? Should he do both? Does wide receiver or safety pay more? Or should cornerback, I guess, is his position?
I got you. I definitely say maximize each opportunity.
Gotcha.
Don't limit yourself at all because the more versatile, the more you can do in the league, the better. It's hard to get rid of somebody that can do 2 to 3 jobs instead of someone that can do one.
Right.
And we got to understand that perspective. So maximize that as well. But I also want you to take accountability that, hey, you only got one body. one life, you know what I'm saying? So also whatever energy you putting into to be the great athlete you is, make sure you're putting that in the recovery and everything else as well too. And your life around you mentally and physically to be in the right state to perform at that high level, because now they see it here, now we want you to do it in the same thing in the NFL. But it comes with different pressures and different measures and money and everything as well too. So I definitely tell him, man, just keep maximizing it. He's doing a great thing. I think he's kicking in a lot of doors. There's a lot of players that could have done it, not to his magnitude, but enough to, to get drafted and do some different things. And whatever one he have fallen in love with the most, that's the one you go pursue. I mean, receivers, they pay good money. Right. Cornerbacks is dime a dozen. It's hard to find good corners nowadays. Right. And a corner, they pay you good money to come and be a franchise cornerback as well too, and safety. So, I mean, he's in a great position to be either key spot because, like I said, you got to have a good 1 or 2 receiver. You got to have a good corner or two, right. And as well as safety too, man. So I think the safety game is trying to make a way back. You know what I'm saying? I think it's an overlooked position too.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like when I was growing up, like we had such as yourself, Troy Polamalu. It was like so many great safety play. Yeah. But it also, they let you hit a little bit. Now I don't see, like I remember I seen, was it James Harrison? Somebody hit that and his whole body was still, like I was like, God damn. They used to have segments on ESPN, hit of the week or whatever.
Yeah, booming them and all that stuff, man. But, ESPN.
But now it feels like they're trying to wipe that away. Like they don't want y'all to hit so hard. I understand it because of the whole head injuries, but for you being a defensive player, how did you look at it?
It was tough, man. I knew if I was playing nowadays, I'd probably be broke and fine and all that kind of good shit, man. Because I took pride in hitting, man, and come and land the broom. I mean, that's part of football, laying the big licks and getting the momentum going and getting the spark you need in the game, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That one hit could change the whole momentum of a game, you know what I'm saying? And nowadays, I understand it because, I mean, let's talk about the health of NFL players, man. It's tough. Right. It's tough, man. You know what I'm saying? You go out there and you sacrifice your body for hours and years at a time. And, some of them players don't make it out the same. You know what I'm saying? They start them ones you see snapping on the news and people just can't understand them because they've been in this environment, this gladiator environment for over 20 some years. And now you take me out and it's like, okay, now I got to adjust. So I'll say, man, I understand the perspective of the CT and that stuff is real. You know what I'm saying? Protecting us because we got to make sure we got a long life outside of football too. So I understand that part of it, but it's a physical game, dog. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's kind of hand in hand. If you want us to play ball, if you don't, if not, we'll go to the league. I mean, NFL flag or something. So, I mean, I understand the safety part of it, but it's a violent game, man. So it's a thin line between it.
So after you retired, right? Was there any precautions that the NFL has taken to help you with your recovery, for your mental health or anything like that?
Now, you know what? The NFL has done a really good job. They have done a really good job. I heard a lot of horror stories from a lot of old heads when I was playing of how the NFL and the NFLPA, certain things get misconstrued and like how certain things move. But I think at the times when I've reached out, I was heard. And I think football players in the sense that's retired or anybody just want to be heard for a sense because when the light stops shining, who knows what may happen or what may happen around you, but you just still want to be heard and felt. And I think the NFL have done a better job of hearing the stories, seeing there's certain things going on that they're trying to do a better job of interacting. They do offer different things as far as, mental health, community events where we get all the local alumni and players that was in your shoes older and good job of trying to bring that locker room feel back to the real world to keep us all tight-knit and close. So the NFL has done a really good job and better job of that. It's still some work to be done, but I think the direction it's heading is going to be is for the better, man.
So, it's crazy, right? Because again, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fanatic, bro. I watched every single game. So we watch you get drafted number 3. So before we touch on that, when you were in college, did you feel like you were making waves to make it to the NFL? Did you know at some point, oh, I'm good enough to play in the NFL?
I started hitting the buzz, I'll probably say around about game 5 or 6 in my senior year. But
so you felt like it took you all the way to your senior year?
Yeah, it took me all the way to my senior year. My junior year, I had a lot of buzz because, I was one of the top offensive players in the offense in that Division I AA at that time at Georgia Southern. And at that time, I was playing running back. It was the option, but I knew I maybe could get an undrafted free agent, maybe, a couple shots here. Maybe I can get a workout of here or go try out for a team.
So you never thought
draft? Receiver. No, I never thought drafted. And I'll tell you a little bit of the story. My coach came to me my senior year. I was like, man, you wait all the way to my senior year to tell me to switch positions when I got all of my film on offense. So I ain't gonna lie, I'll never forget, man. I called my dad. I said, hey, Dad. I say, man, coach want me to switch to safety. I'm like, man, he waited to my senior year to try to pull a stunt like that. But my dad was like, hey, man, I'm gonna tell you something. That might be the best move for you. Whatever you do, if you can't do it, because he gave me an option. The coach like, hey, if we don't like how you look by camp, we'll move you back to offense. We know you can play offense. My dad was like, man, do it. Because if you don't do it, they're gonna label you not a team player and you selfish and everything else. So you go in there with your head high, you work your tail off, and it may be the best move for you. And I mean, God forbid it was. So my dad really helped me in that situation, because at that point I was like, man, I ain't switching, man. Just keep me on offense. Right. And who knows, I would have never been the JJ that was drafted 3rd round to the Dallas Cowboys, the highest draft pick ever out of Georgia Southern University, from being unselfish.
How much do you think that goes on where a coach is really trying to have the kid's best interest at heart and the kid is just stubborn to it?
It's all about how you approach it. And like I say, because for me at that time, I didn't like how it was going, but I knew that if I had a shot, it was going to be on offense, because that's where all my film was. Right. But he knew deep down inside, for us to get to the win, the championships that we need to stop people. Because we can score points, because we had Jerry McKinnon, who was a draftee, who played for Kansas City and got 2 Super Bowl rings. We had some other pieces to put up points, but we couldn't stop nobody. And so I took it as a challenge. I took, like life in general, I take things as a challenge. I like a challenge and run with it, man.
You must have did good.
I didn't do too bad with it, man. So, but I took it as a challenge, man, and I ran with it. And it was one of the best moves I did, man. So, and that's how I did. And to piggyback a little bit on what you're saying as far as the scouting and getting noticed, we had a big D tackle that was getting a lot of NFL buzz. And he was bringing a lot of scouts in the building. Oh, I said, okay. So you bringing them on in, now it's time for me to go out here and you give me the platform, and that's all I need, opportunity. He was bringing them in, so when I was trying to get my 12 to 10 tackles a game and get my picks and different things like that, he got them in the stands, so they came to see him, but they're going to leave out knowing who number 19 was, and that's how I approached it.
Man, just real quick, there was a Netflix series. It was about a guy that had a fake team that ended up on ESPN.
Oh, yeah. It was playing against IMG and all that stuff, man. Yeah, I seen that.
I seen that. That was one of the wildest documentaries, bro.
How did he even get that far?
How did he even get that far, dog? Like
parents and everything.
To me, he might be up there on the scammer list, bro. But I don't know. But anyway, so you make it to the Cowboys, man. So I'm talking about everybody knows when you make it to the Cowboys, it's the buzz is there, the city's there. Like, talk me through getting that call. Like, did you know you was going number 3?
Yeah, so the whole story behind the draft thing and Jerry calling me, man, is I had a vision that my agent was talking. Right. You know, he was saying I was day 2 guy, so I knew I was going. He was saying early day 2. So early day 2 is like the 2nd round. Right. Early 2nd round, early 3rd. And so time was going. I didn't get a call in the 2nd round. Seen some safety that I was actually better than getting picked before me. I'm like, man, I'm calling my agent like, what's up, man? Yeah. He was like, man, just a waiting game. I'm thinking you're going to go here, this, pick 3rd round pick, like 45 or something. Blow past me again. And my mom at the time, I'll never forget, I had people down at K-Road. I had the whole neighborhood, the whole K-Road, the whole city was in my neighborhood, man, just circling around the block. I had the TV out there, the news people. So now at this point, I'm like, okay, now I'm looking like a fool. I got all these people here and everything here, and nobody called me yet. And I started crying, bro. I walked away from everything. I had Georgia Southern in the front, in the front. And I walked to the back room, I just started crying. And my mom was like, at that time she was ill and battling some different things at that time. She said, son, what you back here crying for? She was like, man, it's a blessing that you even here. You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless, look at everybody showing you support and love. Look how far you came, being from a senior to here. Like, why is you back here crying? I was like, man, I'm supposed to be going. I know I'm better than this safety. I know I'm better than this DB. And I'm still here sitting. And man, literally 10 minutes later, man, I was sitting there, and at that time my phone rung and Jerry Jones called me, man. And that call changed my life, man. I ran to my mom literally 10 minutes after I'm back there crying, tears of anger. Yeah. I'm in her arms crying tears of joy, man, from Jerry Jones calling me, because Jerry don't call a lot of people, man. No, man. And he called me and my family and everything, man. It was one of the best feelings of my life, man. It was everything.
Now, as a Cowboys fan, man.
Oh,
man, bro, I could have sworn y'all was gonna win, bro. Y'all had the team. Man, y'all had Dez Bryant, y'all had Tony Romo, y'all had the best offensive line, y'all had you
DeMarco
had
Murray, all the boys.
Oh my God,
Church.
bro. You had Barry Church.
Yeah. Mo Claiborne,
bro,
man.
Y'all had the pieces, man. And so one of the questions that I have, right, as a Cowboys super fan, I always hear Jerry. They always blame Jerry for everything, right? How much of that would you say is valid criticism?
I mean, it's easy to pick the big fish out and always point a finger at him. And I get it, you know what I'm saying? And with those teams we had, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, dog, we got robbed in 2014, man. That was a catch, man.
Yes, bro.
And then they came back years later saying it was a catch. And the people don't understand how mentally that messed with our team, because that team ain't gonna never be the same.
Right.
People gonna leave to go to free agency, people gonna get cut, you know, coaches changes. So we knew that was our one shot to really give us a chance that we had, and to get robbed from a call, man, that was vivid.
Crazy, bro.
In a playoffs like that, man, it bothers. I seen, you know, my brother Dez, man, he battled that for a while, because he's a guy that was very passionate about the game.
Right.
Somebody that I looked up to as a lot coming in my 4 years through Dallas. And to see him like to be distraught, like, you know, man, like what?
Bruh.
I couldn't give it no better effort than I did. And you know what I'm saying? They're calling out the catch. So that catch, it bothered with that locker room for a long time, man.
So stuff like that does definitely linger on?
Yeah, it does. It does. And Jerry did a good job, because he did the Zach Martin draft pick. We was like, who is Zach Martin? Right. Why'd you pick an old lineman in the first round? We was like, but no offense to him, we just didn't know who he was. And at that time, we thought we needed this piece and this piece. But Jerry take a lot of criticism for things that, the people that things that he don't see, because he did that. Right. He did the Frederick. When I was Travis Frederick, when I got drafted, he was the first round draft pick, one of the top O-linemen at that time.
It was back to day. Was catching
that's what I was saying. And he was just building that piece. And when we had the number one rushing offense that year, and rushing game and offense that year.
That's when we had Murray, right?
Murray.
They was saying he was like the next not Troy, Emmitt Smith.
Yeah,
comparing him to
he was toting it, man.
He was going crazy.
Our O-line was good. We had a good. They don't understand. We had a good team chemistry too, man. We gelled together. We hung out together. We did everything together. We climbed together. If it was one, it was all.
Right.
And you know, we took those DB dinners and different things serious, man. And that's what made us the team we was. You know what I'm saying? And made us really good that year.
Yeah, it's just, you know, like, I don't know if maybe it's Jerry, he can sell it, but every year we really truly, as Cowboy fans, we really truly feel, oh, this is our year.
Yeah.
And with that situation, I think was Jason Garrett was the coach,
Garrett,
right?
yeah.
And it was one of those situations like, oh, we got an ex-Cowboy. He's doing his thing, like, and we were successful. We were getting wins. We was getting them wins, but we just never got over that hump. You know what I'm saying? And I always used to wonder why. It'd be like we would play so great, and then the playoffs would happen.
Yeah.
And to the credit, that was a great game. Y'all versus Green Bay. Mm-hmm. Hey, all you can ask for is your team to fight. Hell, y'all did everything you could.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But for you, you know, when you go in there and you're in Dallas, you get drafted by Dallas. In your brain, did you buy into the hype too? Because that's one of the things that they always say is that the players buy into their own hype and they start walking like, oh, we just gonna win. Like, is that a true statement or not?
I mean, once you're in Dallas, you know you're in Dallas.
Yeah.
Because every game is a Super Bowl game. Everybody trying to knock you off. Everybody want to take you away because they know we the most talked about team. But deservedly so. I mean, you know, we had the championships that we had the run with Irvin and them. And like I said, we didn't go deep into the playoff and different things. And they come with respect. You know, if you're going to, you know, be the talk of the town, we got to back it up.
Yeah.
And so, but we knew that every game we go out there and fight, man, it was going to be a battle. We knew that what we had to go up against, and the hype is like, you gotta, if you're gonna walk it, you gotta talk it and everything as well too. So you gotta, hey, Jerry's putting us on the platform and giving us everything we need as a player.
Right.
Why not back it up and have a little confidence and swag, but still be humble enough to understand that you got to go out here and earn it every game. So I think you still have to feel it a little bit, especially when you get the wins and you get to see the media and different things like that, and you're gelling, and it's a good feeling, man. And you get to know the difference when it's like, okay, we them boys, man. You know what I'm saying? We earn it, we talk it, we backing it up, and we balling on Sunday. So that's us.
Do you feel like it was unfair how they painted Dez Bryant? They always tried to make him like he was demonstrative.
Yeah. Not really, man. I mean, I think some people, they get misunderstood. They don't know how to people don't know how to talk to them, and they feel like, you know how this guy all of a sudden just snapping and being the derogative to our locker room. My experience with him, he was great. He was a great teammate. If he needed anything, he was a guy to put his arm around it. I think he was just misunderstood. A lot of people don't understand the way he grew up. He grew up tough, man. Yeah. He grew up, he grew up kind of the breadwinner from the time he, stepped foot on that field. And it come with a lot of pressure and a lot of stuff, and you don't know how you're going to react. And he was just passionate. I was passionate too, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we bumped heads and we did different things, but we knew at the end of the day we wanted to win. Yeah. And, once that common denominator's goal is set, shoot, man, the sky's the limit. But I just think he was a guy that was a big franchise player at the time. Yeah. Misunderstood. A lot of people just didn't know how to understand, to kind of communicate to him. He had a lot of stuff pulling from him and still going out there and balling, being a first-round draft pick. That's a lot of pressure. Yeah. Because you can be a bust, a franchise player or a bust. Yeah. And there's no in between when you're a first-round draft pick, man. And that's a lot of pressure, man. So I think he just was misunderstood. Some things couldn't handle better, but I think the more you get, the older you get, the mature you get, man. It just comes with time.
So, you play with a lot of great players. Yeah. Like when you're in practice and you competing, who was your toughest competition?
I'm talking about, bro, those practices probably were more vicious than the games, man. Damn. It was serious. Witten was a guy. Older guy, slow, but man, he got to get open. He know how to work leverages. He know how to work stems, getting about his breaks, and him and Romo just know how to put it. He basketball you out, man.
Man, I'm talking about, I remember that one game where he got hit and his helmet came off. And he just kept going.
Snot bubbles and all, instead of running down the field, man. And that's who he was. Yeah. Every day he came to practice, he was talking noise. But we knew when it's time to go to game time, it was clutch. He was going to make that catch and make those first downs that we needed. Yeah. But battling with him, man, was tough. Yeah. Dez as well, throwing up the exit practice and all that stuff. Yeah. That guy kind of, our defense is like, man, we got to step up. So, man, our practices probably were more lively than the games, to be honest, because we had a defense that wasn't going to back down. Right. And they had an offense that by all means had everything on the field from receivers to running backs.
So we know the best players of your team, right? Who do you think was the toughest player on other teams?
You got to hit on Julio Jones.
Yeah, I got Julio. Man, Julio was a beast, dog. I say him, Calvin Johnson. I didn't know how strong Calvin Johnson was, man. To be that big and I hit him and, most of my hits, I can, make him bounce off a little bit. I was the opposite. I bounced away from him trying to thud him, man. That was weird. So, man, I had some really good talent, man, from Calvin Johnson to Julio Jones back in his prime in the Falcons to AB. I'm talking about 5'10", 5'11", backside of 3x1 of working, you got to double him, and he backside 5'10". I'm talking about doing damage back there, man. Routes was cold, fast, good awareness. Who else, man? We had some good backs. Devontae Freeman was nice. He was a nice back, man. That was tough to kind of battle week in and week out. And, man, it was just a lot. I know I'm overlooking a lot of players, but there's some dogs, man, when I was playing. Cam Newton back at Panthers. That team was nice in 2015 when they went Super Bowl. You had Russell Wilson, Marshawn Lynch back when he was in Seattle with the Skittles and everything. He was a dog too, man. So even my running back down in Houston, 23. I forgot his name, man, but he was who? I forgot his name. Foster.
Arian Foster.
Yes. He was he don't get a lot of credit that he was doing. He was really slippery, dog. He was really good and slippery, man. Yeah, he was smooth. So we had some good cats, man. A lot of good cats, dog, I played against.
And are the rivalries in the NFL, how vicious do you think they got?
The rivals?
Yeah, like you and the Eagles.
Yeah. It got tense. It'll make you or break you. It can get you cut. It can get you all kind of stuff, man, because those are games you got to win. If you want to get to where you want to get when you want to hold that trophy up and these goals that we set in the beginning of the season, if you want to get there, you got to take care of these games. And they hate you just as bad. And they know they're trying to get the same prize. And with the intensity of that, we playing each other twice a year, it becomes a pride thing. Like, okay, Mono, get some honor. You beat me the first time, but I'm going to come beat you the second time and go back and forth. So those rivals are intense. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, they can get people, coaches fired, players fired as well, too, if you don't handle business with those rivals, man. So, yeah, those rival games is pretty serious and intense. I had a chance to do the one with Pittsburgh and Cleveland. That's a tough one, too, man. The Ravens and all that good stuff. The AFC North is pretty vicious, too, man, especially around these times of the year when it's cold. And you got to go out there and lay that hammer. You're supposed to be the hammer and it's cold. It's like, boy, all right, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Let's show what's up. So, yeah, man, them rivals is pretty serious. It can make or break you, make or break a season, and it can get coaches and players, released and cut and stuff, man, if you don't take care and perform to the way you need to.
Now, I think it's 2016 season, man. They draft Dak and they draft Zeke, right?
Ezekiel.
And as a Cowboys fan, we looking at this is the year, because I think this was the year where it felt like we were super stacked.
Yeah.
And then we got a running back.
Which is that year before, 2015, we went like 4-12.
Yeah.
That's the year Romo broke his collarbone.
Yeah. That's when he was hurt.
Yeah, he was hurt, and we was bad, man.
Yeah.
So we went like 4-12 that year.
Right.
So we knew we had Romo coming back. We had Witten and everybody's coming back. So like you say, we was coming back stacked.
Right. Then he gets hurt. And then
preseason game.
In the preseason game, then all of a sudden you have this young man from Mississippi goes out and lights it up with the running back, right?
Yeah.
And then Romo is not hurt no more, but he doesn't play. What was happening, bro?
Yeah.
Like we were sitting back and I was asking Jalen, right? Because he's a sports guy, right? And I always thought that the rule was you don't lose your spot to an injury. Is that a thing or not?
To a certain degree,
Okay.
it is.
Gotcha.
It is. It's the respect thing,
Right.
just kind of like, hey, I've been here, I've done this.
Right.
It's mine until otherwise.
Right.
But at this time, you got to think, we was damn near 8-0
Yeah.
going into the season, and it was like, do you want to break this up? Do we go to Romo, and then we start losing, and then it's like you snatch Romo out, and Romo was just like, he was a team player at that point. He's like, man, roll with it.
So he wasn't hurt no more, and he knew it, or
I mean, we was rushing for him. We didn't know how Dak was going to be. So with the injury thing, we was trying to rush him to come on back. Like, okay, if you can do it, do it. But at that point, when we was winning, so he was like, I ain't got to rush it. I can let it fully heal.
Right.
I get myself ready for a late push or the back end.
Right.
Which we was kind of gearing for at that time. But we was hot, dog. I remember having a conversation in the back of the plane with Witten after some away games. I said, what you think? Man, this kid coming in, man, rookie, going crazy.
Both the
what
rookies.
You think? He said, okay. I said that was about game 3. He was like, give me about week 5 or 6 and 7. He said, then to come back and holler at me.
Yeah.
Went back there week 7, we 7-0. He's like, yeah, this guy real deal, man. This guy real deal, man. He's like, yeah, he doing it. And he's taking command of the room and everything. And I think at that time we had a hot hand. We just rolled with it because we knew where we came from in that 4-12 year in 2015. So with him, we was like, hey, until if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
And he put up, man. He came in and did what he had to do. I got a lot of respect for him. Yeah.
That was 13-3 season, right?
Yep, 13-3, man. Yep.
So it was one of the most craziest seasons I've seen. But what stood out to me, right, was that very last game, which was a throwaway game when they put Romo back in there, and he looked like old Romo. I was like, God damn, he looked good. So I was sitting here like, as a fan, because the thing for me, right, I acknowledge Troy Aikman, love Troy Aikman, but for me, Romo was my favorite Cowboys quarterback. Like I don't know why, bro. He was wilding out. He would fumble the ball, grab the
do
bitch,
something crazy,
juke somebody.
He did. I seen the JJ Watt when he spent off of him, and it was like he do stuff like that.
Dog, I seen him throw 5 picks and win the game.
Yeah.
Just slaying it. For me, I know that sounds nuts, right?
Yeah.
But for me, he was I always wanted to see him win one, right?
Yeah, man.
And so I always wondered this. Did that cause any type of, there had to be some kind of division in the locker room, like, damn, this is Romo, but damn, this young man is going crazy.
I mean, it can be, but we had good people. That's why you go to who you bringing in the locker room.
That's what's up.
We had people that were selfless, and we had people that understanded what we was trying to get. Right. And regardless how I look, if Romo get in there and win the last 3, regardless of what it is, we all won. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was a good sportsmanship on Romo of him really saying, lady, man, let me just heal. I'm older. Let this guy, man, if he can take us to what we need to get and I can do the back end, it's just as equal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was a bunch of selfless guys, man. Romo was, Romo was magical, man. He was cool. He was magical. He could do things that you never thought. His body wasn't he wasn't no chisel or no Cam Newton stature. Right. But when you go out there and it was time to make plays and sling it, he was one of the best at doing that. So my hat off. He was a great teammate too. I enjoyed Romo, man.
Yeah, man. Like it's crazy. So
I grew up watching him, man. It was crazy,
man.
bro. Me coming in that locker room, I was blown, man. I was starstruck for a while. Right. My first game was kind of against Peyton Manning. And those guys when he was in Denver, I was like, Eli Manning. I'm standing across from him. I'm like, man, I grew up watching these cats on TV. you know what I'm saying, on practicing in the living room like my little kids do now, trying to run the football to NFL Sunday night football and stuff, man. And to actually be out there, it was cool.
Didn't we got jerked in that game too though, right? That playoff game.
Which one?
The one that Dak played in.
Yeah, it came down to a last minute Simon bust on defense, man. We had one of the young guys supposed to be blocking the sideline, didn't get enough depth, and Jared Cook tiptoed it on the sideline the last seconds.
Yeah.
And kicked the field goal to win it, man. Because we had them beat all game. And like I say, we had the bye week.
Right.
Because we was the number 1 seed.
That's right.
I hate that bye week,
Number 1 seed with a rookie, bro. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. It was crazy, bro.
That's crazy.
We had a good team, man. A really good team. Yeah.
So life at the Cowboys, right? When you get traded away, and you start actually dealing with other organizations, what would you say, like pro and con, right? What was some of the things that you feel like the Cowboys could use, maybe to make the organization run better, if any? I mean, they might already be top tier.
Yeah, I mean, we always can be criticized of ourselves and get better. You know what I'm saying? We can always look ourselves in the mirror and say, how can I get better? Yeah. I think for me, I was able to go to some top-notch organizations when I left. Yeah. I did a small stint at Tampa Bay, but I went to Pittsburgh for a year with Mike Tomlin. Yeah, I mean, that's another hierarchy, top-tier team, a guy that's arguably one of the Hall of Fame best coaches. And to see his coaching style from Coach Gary's coaching style, it was an eye-opener for me. Because Tomlin, when you go up there, them do some dogs. You know what I'm saying? We had dogs too, but I mean, you got a dog as a coach and everything else, and this whole pedigree of how he coaches and run his team is like, how you practice is how you play, and if you ain't practicing the way we need you to, you will not dress out. And it was a wake-up call. It was like, oh, shoot, okay. All right, so hey, okay, all right. Just because you 1 or 2 on the depth chart, hey, this 3 and 4, if he come in and have a good day, a good practice, and we feel like we can win with him, we're gonna put him above and do what we got to do to win.
So you get it. So it's not you do get a shot. Like if you play good over there,
if you practice and do what you got to do, and you make your name and make your presence felt, you will get a shot to play up there in Pittsburgh. Because Mike Tomlin just want to find the dogs to go out there and gonna take care of and is gonna hunt.
That's what's up.
Regardless of who it might be, what you may look like, or where you come from, what depth, what round you drafted. Well, that's what we're looking for. We come here to win. Right. That's it. But I definitely think we can always take some pieces and make some other organizations great. Dallas was great to me, man. Probably one of the top tier franchises I done had the opportunity to be around from top to bottom. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I had Pittsburgh, I had Indy. Indy was cool. It's the only world. There's not much going on there. But I mean, it's focused on football. That year we went to play Mahomes in the snow in the playoffs. Yeah. And then I came home to Atlanta, you know, and in Georgia, and that's a whole different world because I'm back home now. You know what I'm saying? And the Falcons got this pedigree of greatness that they've had. I was there with Dan Quinn, and it was cool, man. So those franchises all have their pieces of what make them great and stand out.
That's what's up. If you were to predict the Super Bowl, who's going to be at the Super Bowl? Who do you feel like
right now?
Right now,
what, week 12,
just
November
judging
29.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard, man. But I'm gonna go with either KC or Buffalo on the AFC side.
For sure.
And I mean, Detroit right now is tearing it up, bro. They you see what happens when you get some former players that understand the walk of life and what it takes to run those locker rooms and get those players to buy in. You see it. And that's what it is, because his roster from coaching down, all of them had some type of pedigree in football. You know, Aaron Glenn and all those guys, and just that familiarity. But Detroit, I see Detroit. Minnesota's a good team. I like Green Bay. I had an opportunity to do some stuff with them this offseason.
They're
a sneaky team, bro.
Yeah, they look
They're
sneaky.
A sneaky team, and they
just
really
like
right now gelling.
We've seen the quarterback destroy our team. I've seen it in person. So,
So I had the opportunity to do some stuff this offseason with them, man. They organization from top down is pretty dope, man. I ain't gonna lie. They did a really good job of taking me in and doing some small things, and I had a chance to witness Matt LaFleur, man. He's a hell of a coach, man. He's a hell of a coach, man. He loved the game, and he's steady evolutionizing the game. You know, him and that Kyle Shanahan pedigree. Those guys, they all over the NFL, from Sean McVay to Mac McDaniels down in Miami. Everybody got that Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan type pedigree, and those guys are very, very like smart and, like I say, very like chess players, man, when it comes to that offensive stuff, bro. So,
was there a guy that you took under your wing?
You know what? I try to take a lot of guys because I wanted that same love. I didn't want some of the players, younger players, to make the mistakes that I did. I took some guys. I had an opportunity with Derek McClendon. He's a practice squad guy down in Miami. I had an opportunity, man. He really bought into me. It came to me. And and to be honest with you, those young guys bring life and purpose to us old guys. Because like I say, it's easy for us to get pushed back when you can't run the ball and run a 4-4 no more, go up and get the picks. But those young guys coming to you asking you for questions brings life to you and make you feel like, hey man, I'm still important and my voice is still heard, you know what I'm saying? So I had opportunity to do a lot of young guys, man. Derek McClendon is one that I had opportunity to train with this offseason and do some great things and speak life into him. And he did vice versa, spoke some life into me, man. And then everybody I try to train with, because I try to stay around the game at least. If I'm not in the gym, bringing people in, they come asking me questions, I do it. So, I can't pinpoint other than Derek just because I had a very hands-on opportunity with him this past offseason as a guy that that bought in, that came and really brought me life as well too.
So, hypothetical question here.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, if there was an open position at a coach at any team, what team would you want to coach for right now?
NFL or just a team in general, or college or whatever?
College, NFL. Give both.
That's a good question, man, because you'd asked me that a year ago, I'd be like, man, I ain't doing no coaching. I ain't doing none of that. I don't want to do none of that stuff, man. I'm just going to get me in a boat and retire and float off in the wind. But I feel like my purpose was bigger than just playing football, man. And is being able to give life to some of those people that grew up kind of like me on those rural areas and need that voice to be like, hey, you can do it. You know what I'm saying? Speak life into them. So if I had a team right now, I would always go back to my alumni, Georgia Southern. I would love to do that. I would love to help Dallas, the Cowboys in a sense. I have a coaching background, internship I've done. I did a couple of years of scouting, pro scouting and college scouting too. So Dallas for sure. Green Bay, like I say, they the one that gave me my opportunity for a coaching intern this past off season.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. So Green Bay and those teams, any college team that's, D1, D2, whoever sees me fit and I sees fit for me, I'll be open to it. Now, if you'd asked me a couple months ago or a year ago, no, man, I would have said no. But I think my purpose is a lot bigger than, just me playing football for 8 years and speaking life to these kids, because I want somebody to do the same for my kids, you know what I'm saying? And I see how far that can take you, because speaking life to that one person, you never know how he hold on to that and take him to be the next JJ or, better. So if the opportunity presents itself, the right fit, I'll definitely take it.
Now, I want you to keep it 1,000. I want you to keep it a beam with me on this next question. When Colin Kaepernick started kneeling, right? And then I remember the Cowboys, there was that famous Cowboys picture where y'all all came, and Jerry, I don't know if he was on the team at the time.
Yeah, I was going away. I know exactly what you're talking about. When they went to AZ.
Yeah, it looked like, all right, Jerry, you kind of wilding on this.
Yeah.
What was the sentiments in the locker room for a black athlete, right? You're trying to stand with your man, who's Colin, right? Who has a message,
yes,
whether you agree with the message or not.
Yep.
And then you have Jerry, which it sounds like he tried to play both sides of the fence, but the world looked at y'all like sellouts.
Yeah.
Just to be quite honest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how was that trying to, when people are saying derogatory things to you, but it's like, Nick, we just here to play football, bro.
Yeah. We're gonna keep it a bean. I mean, at that time, we understood exactly what Kaepernick was doing.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people think it was just what he was kneeling just not to do to the star, pledge allegiance and all that stuff. But it was deeper than that. At that time, we had one of the highest police brutality to a lot of black African Americans and everything at that time.
Right.
And it was just not coming to the point where it was being seen on social media and getting caught on, on all type of like media platforms.
Right.
And at that point in time, Kaepernick was a franchise type of player in San Fran, and his message, what he was trying to get across, was very approved. Because at that time, I was in Pittsburgh, and we did the kneeling thing too in Chicago that game to show respect.
But y'all did it a little bit more.
We did it as a team.
Y'all did it as a team. Y'all were the one team that maybe because y'all have a black kid coach and he can probably resonate that message. But
so it was. So it was a collective, like, hey, we're gonna do it, we all gonna do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if you disagree with it, but hey, we're a team. So if you disagree with it, we gave us an opportunity to speak on it in locker rooms before we even did it. You get what I'm saying? So it wasn't just like, hey, the game of, we just gonna go out here and we gonna kneel. We had a whole talk of them from week to week because everybody got their different perspective, because you got people that done served. And like I said, but the Kaepernick situation, man, I was with him. A lot of people wanted to be with him as well, but we understand that our money at that time would have couldn't have stretched as far as Kaepernick maybe could have. A lot of us wasn't no $100 million player and signed at that time, and this is our way of life.
Right.
And at that time, the owners was kind of like, okay, if let's just be on the bottom of the, roster and stuff like that, you better come very correct, because at that time you might be cut.
Right.
And then now you're being labeled as a guy that don't want to come in and be a team player, and he's doing his own thing and he's kneeling and being disrespectful to the flag. And it's like, no, man, y'all didn't even come to the locker room and ask us what's going on, why I decided to do this, instead of just blasting me. But it's the way of the world and the league in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When you got people that's above you and feel a certain type of way to get that communication from top to bottom.
So there's going to be a lot of people. Well, there were a lot of people that said, well, why don't there is no NFL without the black players. Why didn't all the black players just go on strike?
I mean, it's harder than that. I mean, I agree with that. I feel like we could have stuck together. We could, but I mean, you got to have everybody on board.
Right.
And
right,
everybody at that point was like, "Hey, man, this is how I feed my family.
Yeah,
like I can't step away from this. I'll leave paycheck to paycheck." And you understand that. And I think if you say that now, if you put us from 2024 back in that situation, I think a lot more stuff would have got dealt with, as far as black athletes stepping up at that time and doing the strike stuff. But it's the way you go about it. And at that time, we really didn't have enough knowledge of it, because we were just doing it just because we were trying to get our message heard.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we didn't know how to move as a militant, as a team, and as as a race and everything else. But at that time, we just didn't have the knowledge of how to approach it the right way. And it was new to everybody, from the NFLPA to everybody, that, hey, we got a voice and we trying to be heard too. We just ain't finna take this slap on the hand and brushing underneath the rug, and that's what it is. Like, nah, we want to be heard and felt.
But I ain't gonna lie, like, I feel like y'all kind of got put in an unfair position, because at one point it's like, it just seemed like it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It just wouldn't go away. I thought it would be here today, gone tomorrow. No, this shit was like, week to week, it was getting worse and worse and worse. And they were really looking like, is he gonna kneel? Are you gonna stand up for the national? They was even killing, because at the time, I actually worked at the Cowboys as a beer vendor.
Okay.
Right? I worked at every stadium as a beer vendor, right? And they was looking at people not standing up, putting their hand on their chest. Like, there was black people sitting down on the national anthem, and I would see the white, quote unquote, people or people that were in the army be offended, and they would say something about it. Like, it was like a real tense time. So like, it was just really interesting to see that it only seemed to focus on football. They never golf, NFL, NASCAR. None of the other sports had that responsibility but y'all. Did y'all feel like, damn, this is kind of unfair, man? Like,
I mean, yeah, at the same time, because it's like, okay, if somebody did a NASCAR, I think at the time we had other sports that maybe was trying to find a way to kind of do it, but
they wasn't held to the same.
No, and that's the scrutiny that's how we knew that it wasn't fair. And I mean, life just not fair at times, man. And I definitely think we got hit a lot hard for that stuff, just because we're one of the most viewed and watched, sport in the league and in the world, in a sense. So they look at us like we're supposed to be these poster child people. But to be honest with you, the people that play football, man, come from some tough areas, dog.
No, for sure.
And you know what I'm saying? And it ain't this cupcake, and it's given easy as it is to everything else, to sports and everything else. So I definitely think we was hit and brutalized for something that was, like I say, to which everybody has their own opinion on how they want to go about it. But it just kind of it come with the territory, man. It come with the price of playing in the NFL or being an NFL athlete. Yeah. That it comes with certain levels that you have to, stuff you have to hold up to.
Yes, man. I really felt for y'all during that time period. That was a crazy time period. Yeah. But equally as crazy was Aaron Hernandez was catching bodies off.
I know, right?
And kept going down and catching touchdown passes. Like, when y'all heard that story break, what was y'all? Because y'all played against them, y'all played with them, and then you see a story like that break. Do you go, man, how does this happen?
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked. I mean, he don't look like the type of guy that a lot of people put this persona on, but I mean, when the stories and stuff were coming out, I was like, whoa, man. So you just got to be careful, dog. I mean, I don't really know much about him. He was a little bit older than me. Right. I think it was 07-ish. And by the time I was getting in, he was leaving. Grunt was emerging as a tight end for him, but the Patriots at the time. So I really didn't know him. I really, just heard stories from him from back in Florida and different things like that. And a lot of people I talked to say he was like that.
Yeah.
And I think some people, are like that, really like that and about that life. And some people that just walk it. And that was the two. You can tell the difference between a guy that was really like that and some guys that kind of play like, okay, I'm a tough guy, this, and that. But you got people that's really like that, man. You got to be careful who you're around and, how you deal with them and stuff like that, too.
I always want to know about this. Gambling, right? Parlays. That's the new thing. You could gamble from your phone now, which wasn't a thing. I bullshit you not, bro. I bet because I was heavy on the prize, but I had to quit, bro. And I'm watching the game. I don't know who I bet on. It might have been like, let's just say LeBron, and he just needed 27 points or some shit. This nigga got 26 points and subbed out the game. Ooh. I was like, wait a minute, bro.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Do you think do you think that there is some type of fixing going on when it comes to sports betting in the games? Because like I'm saying, like I'm watching, like when you actually gamble on the game, shit be like, wait a second, bro. How he ain't?
Yeah.
He couldn't give me 10?
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like it's so big now and there's so much money into it now that it may be something. I mean, I'm the same way with you. I know a lot of people that play and do it, and they be 1 or 2 points away from it, and all of a sudden that person sub out that can go over and beyond. But I think from the time that I left the game to now, that gambling stuff it went crazy. Now you got Vegas them involved. You got stuff, man. You can gamble from all different angles and different stuff like that. So I think it grew into like its own little fucking profit or own organization where it's like, hey, we got enough pool nowadays that, hey, whatever we say, we need to get a little feel and, hey, understand what's going on. Like, we here too, and we got enough money in the pot now where we can stand toe to toe and be like, hey, man, sit him down in the fourth quarter if he gets 25 points or something.
Yeah.
Or if not, you know what I'm saying? Who knows what may happen.
Because I'm not going to lie, right? I played this out of my brain. I was like, man, let's just say me and my 6 homies all made it to the league. That's a parlay right there. Like, who's to say they don't just got their granny or something? Hey, like, I'm not finna get this granny. Just go ahead and, like, how do you really regulate that for real?
What's that?
Like, let's say you and 6 of your friends, or let's just say 12 of your friends conspired to say, okay, we see the numbers. We're going to have somebody on the outside. We're going to let them know what it is and what it ain't. How do you regulate that for real? That's easy money right there.
Yeah.
Hey, you put 10 bands on this, that's an easy flip.
Yeah.
So I couldn't say if I was 18 that I wouldn't do that. Like, I mean, who's to say? Because at that time,
yeah, that's what I was saying. The money and stuff, man, play into it, and it's like, I mean, at that point, it's all the decisions you got to make. It's tough because at the same time, like you say, if your homies just might really need it, it's gonna be that one person that be like, man, I need this, bro. My folks down here, we ain't got nothing. We ain't got much going on. We got this and that, and hey, man, I need it. You know what I'm saying? So I got to do what I got to do. Right. You might have the other 9, I might not do it, but they may just do it to show love because the brotherhood that we have, look out for them, and don't leave them hanging and do it and take it. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just different scenarios that be painted that may profit for somebody else to do it other than somebody not to do it.
Do you think as, I'm just gonna focus on black because I'm black. Do you think as black people, we focus too much on chasing the bag and not enough on God? Because I feel like, how much money do you really need? Like, it's like, it just seems like people are just searching for this endless amount of money when it's like, when y'all are married, I'm about to get married, and then, I know people that just like that single lifestyle, flashy, but, when I see people that are married, like you can see like they always think about people other than themselves. Like they're always thinking about the greater picture and they're not trying to do too much. They're just really trying to feed their family. But then on the flip side, you got people that just nonstop chasing the bag. Yeah. And it's like there's no God in there or there's no higher power. There's no purpose in there other than the bag. Yeah. And then it's just like you see the results of that. You got 19 baby mamas here. You got, you know what I'm saying? So where do you think we as a society go wrong in that?
I think nowadays it's so easy for us we don't remove God from a lot of different stuff. I'm big on faith. I grew up in faith. Without faith, I wouldn't have been where I'm at sitting here with you now. Just from scenarios from me, from Cairo, Georgia, to me having episodes and stuff outside of the league and different things from a health perspective. So I'm big on it. I think when we start removing him from everyday walks of life, it's easier for us to chase on those, let's just say, materialized things. And that's kind of putting another God above a God, you know what I'm saying? And that's a whole different type of walk of life too. So, I mean, it's a tunnel you go in, but I think the social media, man, I think that social media is really invading and really corrupting the youth and different things like that, man. And I think we have to start putting that forward because we all know money is the rule of all evil. And I done been at the top where I done had a whole bunch of money and still was unhappy, and I'd have been at my lowest point when I didn't have any money and been the happiest of my life. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't have to worry about every other thing and everything that come with it. So I think it's the person. I think also too is like I say, man, we got to just start putting God back first in a lot of different things and ask him for whatever he went more, because you may need 500,000. Somebody else may need 200,000 to live their best life ever. And I think at that time, it just comes to having a conversation and knowing your heart and having a conversation with God. Like, hey, man, whatever you want me to do, whatever you desire me to do, whatever my means is you need me to do, I ask that you help me find that strength in that area and confidence in that area where I can take and provide to my family.
Right. And what advice would you give to like young men getting this money and they're looking for, maybe they're not looking for the soulmate, but they're dating and they're being around these women. What advice do you give? Because like I said, you say you come from a faith background, so that probably kept you more grounded than maybe other people. But you know, you see us as men, we make bad decisions. We go for the for the wrong
I ain't
things.
been perfect myself, so I get it.
So what advice do you give to what do you say to those young guys when they're out here courting and trying to find somebody?
Yeah, I mean, just be smart. I mean, us men, let's be honest, we lustful men. We like to see. So if we see something we like to go at it. And I think you got to have those. I had the old school mom and different things like that. I like everything that ain't gold and glitter, different things like that. And then once you start to think like, okay, I'm gonna start just really understanding who I'm dating, understanding who I'm dealing with, understand the background, the language, how they communicate, how they was raised. That speaks dividends, how they dress, how they, is somebody you want to bring around your mom and can somebody you take to sit in front of Jerry Jones and them, and once you get to these different levels and different heights, and to be able to conduct themselves to a manner where you can be respectful and they want to keep you around in investments and stuff like that. I think sometimes we got to think not in the moment, but think about the future. I think some people, we get so caught up in the now that we don't think about, the future and where we going and how we want to be presented in love like that. And it just comes with trial and understanding. I think just because you see the first girl say that you look good and you make her laugh, that you don't have to go all head first, you know what I'm saying? Start building a friendship, understanding that, hey, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. And understanding if she respect that and have her morals and different things like that. If she respect what you don't like and she don't do it, that's somebody that respect and love you. If somebody you got to keep telling something over and over and over again, it's like, damn, you ain't respecting nothing I got going on, man. You know what I'm saying? So what make you think they're gonna change all of a sudden? So it was just small things for me. I had those old school parents that was like, man, hey, saying everything that glitter ain't gold, watch them. Can she cook, clean, do this? You know what I'm saying? Do she take care of herself? Does she take care of her business and all that kind of good stuff? And it helps making those decisions. But don't feel rushed. Everybody's timeline is different. I think a lot of people rush these timelines. I got to be married by 28. I need to be married by 35. You know what I'm saying? Whole life. Everybody's different. Because my way of life that I grew up was a lot different than how my parents and them grew up. Because I was able to make it to the NFL and do different things. They grew up in the world, low class and just trying to build, you know what I'm saying, to get help raise their kids, not to have the same stuff that they went through. So I had to look at stuff like that too, that my watching time is gonna be a lot different than my dad and my mom and them, and different things like that. So
social media has been evolving for like the last 10 years, and it's also been evolving into the NFL. We've seen it become a big tool. It's helped a lot of players get drafted. It's helped a lot of players get looked at. But I've also seen it become a big distraction with podcasting and a lot of things, not necessarily the NFL, but also just in the sports world. A lot of things that should have stayed private will become bigger into the light. Do you also believe that's becoming a distraction?
Yeah, I do. I feel like everything ain't got to be seen or noticed or be heard. You know what I'm saying? I feel like some stuff should be locker room or behind closed doors, conversations, pictures, whatever it may be. And then, certain things should be publicized and opportunity, like I say, to put stuff out there so people can see and hear too. And I think that's the difference. Everything want to be viral, everything wants to do this, and they take some of those closed doors, conversations and pictures and stuff and just putting it out there just so I can get likes and different stuff. And I think, like I say, until we get that boundary back, having that fear of God and different things like that, put into the sequence of things, it'll make life a lot better, man. But social media, like I said, it's a pro and a con. And I think it's all your intentions behind it too. Yeah. What's your intentions behind it once you get to social media and the platforms that you have? Like, what's your whole goal behind it? Because it's easy for somebody to go viral 1 or 2 times, but if you got ill will, then ill will gonna start coming out eventually. And now you got this big platform, and you didn't even have a whole plan going into it. Yeah. So having a plan of why you're doing it and your intentions behind it too.
Now, Bronny James and LeBron. Watching a son and dad play on the same team.
That's crazy, man.
Like, that was one of the craziest moments, especially as a dad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what was your thoughts when you seen that?
Man, I was blown away, man. I was blown away because you don't ever hear that you get the opportunity of a son and father playing together.
That's crazy.
That is, man, that's unheard of. Really, to be honest with you, man. And it's at a time where we're seeing history. I mean, that's history that may not never ever get repeated. Right. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But it was a hat off to LeBron, the way he's been going about his walk of life and taking the profession. And to be at a high level like that, at an older age like that, is just commending him and the work that he does. But like I say, man, he walk it, he talk it, he breathe it. He got good intentions. He put a lot of kids and stuff through school. He does a lot of great things, man. And once you do good and right, good things always come back to you, man. Yeah, it does. So I'm just glad I was able to witness it. Witness that greatness, man.
We done witnessed a lot of, man. We done witnessed just our age group. Witnessed a lot, bro. We done seen Atari.
Went through COVID. We had a COVID, then pandemic and everything.
Yeah,
man.
we done seen some stuff, man. Like, for you, what is your favorite sport outside of football? Like that to watch, just to
watch.
If any.
Sport to watch. I like baseball, man. I actually like going to the games.
Yeah.
And like I probably say not watching on TV, but I like going to the baseball game. Yeah. That's pretty cool. That's the way.
I didn't know in baseball like you could get hit with one. I got hit with one. Made the paper. Made the newspaper. Oh yeah. Yeah, I didn't know that. Them foul balls coming. They hit hard, bro.
Hot, yeah.
Bow.
They come hot, man. So I like baseball. I like going to some baseball games. I've been picking up golf, and golf is pretty cool. Yeah. I like to go out there and get on the greens and do some stuff like that, man. So, but baseball for me, I like to throw my baseball cap on and get me a nice cold one and chill with the wife, eating the kids, and go watch the games, man. Baseball games.
That's dope. Now, man, let's talk about your podcast, right?
Okay.
What's the name of your podcast for those that don't know?
It's not mine, but I'm a co-host on it.
Okay.
Football Forever.
So it's yours?
Yeah. Football Forever, man, with Isaac, man. Isaac is a guy, he's a grad, and I'm gonna tell you a story. I wanted to be around football, but now he's a super fan of the Cowboys.
Right.
And he just reached out to me one day, like back in 2021, I had first retired and different things like that. He was like, hey man, I'm a big fan of yours. I would love for you to come on and, just speak some insight on some week-to-week football matchups. I was like, okay, cool. And from there, man, it just kind of brought, like I say, a sense of I'm back like in the football, in the frame of it. You know what I'm saying? Even though I was away from it, physically, I was still in it mentally and different things like that. So Isaac, we started as Pro Football Chase. He had a big following, big fan base, man, and he asked some great questions and he wanted some real insights of what players think of from a defensive mindset. And man, it just grew from there. And I'm so glad Isaac reached out to me at that time because podcast was just starting to crank up a little bit.
Yeah.
And man, now he's doing a hell of a numbers, man. We do every Tuesday, Football Forever. Shout out to Isaac, man. I appreciate you, man, for always holding me down and showing love to me and giving me an opportunity and a platform that I didn't even know where I was going with life after football, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And he gave me an opportunity to really sit down and start diving into something that I find like joy in.
What is one of the things that you one of the best things you enjoy about doing podcasting?
The podcasting is just giving that insight. I say just giving that football insight from somebody that actually did it. Somebody that actually walked and went out there and played and blood and sweat, tears and all of it out there.
Right.
I feel like it's coming from somebody that's authentic and real and genuine, not on these computer made up AI peoples and people that think they watch one or two little games and understand the game. Somebody that done lived it, breathed it, talked it, and did it, and to give that insight from what I see from a player's perspective. I think that's giving me a niche and a boost in a sense to that platform.
So from your perspective, do the Cowboys have a chance to make a comeback this year? Because I looked at the rest of the schedule, and they look like winnable games.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Because once you make that uphill battle, it's a climb. Right. And nowadays these teams is not gonna let no 5 and 7 team come in there and knock them off of maybe some potential bracket plays and different stuff like that. So it's going to be even tougher now, what I'm saying, with limited resources that we have, limited players. Right. I think we're still trying to get D-Law and different things back like that. So it's going to be one hell of a push if it do. But I think for us right now, we just want to find players who want to show heart because it's easy to turn. It's so easy to ride the bandwagon when we up and winning, but when you're getting punched over and over and over in the face, how are you gonna respond?
Right.
I think right now this is the team we finding that, hey, how you gonna respond once things ain't going your way, like life sometimes, and keep fighting and keep swinging. So I think right now we just trying to soul search right now. So we're gonna be on this journey when we take off moving forward.
Now, when Nick Foles won the Super Bowl with Philadelphia and they benched him the next season, was that one of the craziest moves you've ever seen? I'm sorry, bro. If you win the Super Bowl, you the quarterback.
Yeah, for sure. And I think he came in as a backup, right?
Yeah.
I think Carson Wentz got hurt later that season.
It went crazy.
Yeah, he did. So at that point in time, it's kind of like the Dak and the Romo situation.
Yeah, but they kept Dak.
Yeah, they did. So it go to show you two different outcomes. I already know how they did after that year that they lost, after they won the Super Bowl. How did they do?
They was bad.
That's what I'm saying. So it's just go to show you. And they had a live experiment of what it's supposed to look like. Hey, man, let him roll. If he hot. But first round draft pick in Carson Wentz, well, first or second round, and he was the franchise player. So he can't do no wrong right now. He's our guy. We got all our money invested in him. We need him to come back.
Wouldn't have flown to Pittsburgh, huh? Pittsburgh.
Right.
You won, brother. You the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But honestly, is that weird? Like if the backup, because I just played this out. The backup wins the Super Bowl. That's got to be awkward, right? It's like, what do you do there? It's like,
yeah. I mean, at that time, as a coach, I was, hey, let's compete a little bit.
Yeah.
And we should sit. I'm gonna try to find a way to kind of utilize both strengths.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, I got this money and Wentz, but Nick just won me a championship because without him, we wouldn't have had a Super Bowl. So,
yeah.
I mean, that was a tough situation for a coach at that time, but I would have tried to find a way to kind of utilize both at the same time. Yeah.
What is the most impressive thing or play you've seen with all your analysis with the podcast? Like now that you're watching football in a different way, what's one of the most impressive plays you've seen?
Probably that Saquon.
That Saquon hurdle. That backward hurdle.
That was crazy. That's sick. That's somebody that's just dialed in and just God-gifted talents and just feeling the game. Because when they say you in that mode, you in that mode. And I can just tell right now Saquon is in that mode right now where he's like, y'all ridden me off a couple of times. The Giants just pushed me away. And it's like, okay, I got some, man. Y'all almost know who y'all was talking. He was one of the top MVP candidates for a while and top running backs in the league for a long time. So that Saquon backwards jump was sick. That's probably gonna be one of the top SB, reruns and runs of all time, to be honest with you.
How does it feel to see players that came from a team and they were always good, but they just couldn't really shine there, and they go to a new team and become something big, like Saquon, Josh Jacobs this year.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs.
Who was that? I want to say Alexander Madison.
Yep,
he's been playing very well.
Where is he at now? Because he left Minnesota, right?
He left Minnesota. No, I'm thinking of Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones, okay.
Aaron Jones.
Jared Goff too. Yeah, Matthew Stafford.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was a real even trade. That was a really good trade.
That was. Yeah.
But you see those guys and they play lights out at a new team. Is that a common thing? Is that just a very rare thing that we're just seeing really common now? Yeah,
it's a rare thing because you got to only understand that person have to fit that organization, that scheme, that everything. You know what I'm saying? Because you usually heard stories where somebody was balling at a team and then he went somewhere and just went the complete opposite because the fit wasn't right. And the roster wasn't right and the environment wasn't right. He couldn't get into this routine because football is a routine. You got to find your routine, stick to it. I got to have my wake up this time and have this and everything else. So it's a lot that plays into it. But I think right now the teams are understanding the dynamics of it and putting those players in those great situations where, hey, this is the piece we missing. This is what it looked like. We have a better understanding of what they're trying to attack and what they're trying to go. Instead of like, okay, he the top free agency, let me just pick him. You know what I'm saying? And he'd have no fit or no characteristics to fit your locker room at all. So I think now the front offices, the scouting, the coaches and everything understand the fit that they need and they're actually getting that fit, no more, no less, regardless of where they are, free agency or wherever they're at in draft or anything like that in general.
Can you walk me through the trade process? How does it feel to be traded? Is it, is it one of those things where you're just really sad about it?
Yeah.
Are you happy about it?
It's
for you?
It's tough. It's tough. I'd have been traded and I'd have been cut. And it's one of the worst feelings you probably could ever have as a player to finally get to that level, the highest level ever. And it's like, Still ain't enough. We sorry. We're gonna move on. And it's like they don't give you no feedback like of what you did wrong. It ain't nothing like in the real world 9 to 5 where HR tell you, hey, you were late too many times. This is why we cutting you and this is why we're trading you and different things like that. And it's tough because everything we do is broadcast on ESPN. You know what I'm saying? And the NFL Network. And we don't have no way to have anything kind of private or condensed. It's like, okay, we wake up, you go in the office, coach tell you gone by 2 o'clock that PM, it's on ESPN. Now everybody calling you like, dang, what happened, bro? Dang, what's going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? You just, you know, you weren't good enough and this and that. Like, how y'all gonna move? And it's like, I'm just trying to soak it all in to the fact that, well, I need to know what's my next move gonna be because you don't have time to sit there and debate or figure out my next move. Like, I went to Tampa Bay. I signed a contract to go to Tampa Bay after I left Dallas. I was traded to Pittsburgh the week before the first game. So I didn't have no time to adjust to anything in life in general. Like I just had to get up and get on the plane and find hotels and find apartments and different things with the game week being next week. So you don't have time to sit there. You got to learn how to always move and stick in the move and keep a smile on your face and keep pushing. And eventually that stuff, it burns holes and it burns different type of fire and fuel in you to it's like, I just want to release and get away from all of it, man. And some people don't know how to do it, and it's tough. It's tough, man, because like I say, the average people 9 to 5 job, they stuff get released all the time, and they don't get publicized and put on the big screen like we do. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough. It is tough.
So your last year, you played with Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
That's really close to your hometown,
Mm-hmm.
right? Pretty sure. How was that like a big just comeback? Was that your favorite team growing up?
It wasn't one of my favorite teams, but it's always good to go back home. I had been away from Georgia for some years. And the sad part about that, I never really got a chance to play for Atlanta because my first year there, I tore my ACL. One of the biggest tragics and biggest hurdles I had to face as far as a player because I always took care of my body. I never had any really big injuries other than like some smaller dings and knee springs and shoulders and stuff like that. And that was a year-ending make or break. No matter how you rehab or how you do it, it's gonna make or break you to where you'll be able to step a foot on the field again or no. And it was so mental. And I thought maybe, okay, because I like I said, I love challenges. I love, you know, waking up and being the underdog and all the other stuff. But mentally, I never really been challenged mentally like that outside of, you know, losing a significant my mom and different things like that. But that mentally was a wake-up call for me. It was like, okay, what are you gonna do? Because you're only gonna come back as good as the effort you put into it. Yeah, we know you can fight and do this and that, but you never had anybody to tell you what you're supposed to do, what it's supposed to look like, how it's supposed to feel. And you gotta go out there and figure it out on your own. And no pressure, but if you don't come back the way you need to, you'll never play again. So it was like, pressure was on 10. I didn't know how to deal with the mental aspect of it. And I just kept my head down, man. I stayed in my faith. My wife did a great job of helping me to this day. She helped me. I couldn't even wash myself at times, man, because my knee and stuff was just so banged up and bad. And she had to take care of me and all that kind of good stuff, change my bandages and everything, man. And that time I really had to deal with some soul searching and them different things. But I never got a chance to really put on for Atlanta like I wanted to,
right?
Due to the fact of my injury and different things like that. But it was good to be able to come home. It was good to get the love that some flowers at that time, to come back to the city and do some and just be a part of it. And to say, hey, I was part of that team. And I met Dan Quinn, was a great coach. He loved me. He kept me upbeat, kept me involved. And that's when I started learning the coaching side of it, where I started spilling into the KZ, Keon O'Neal and those guys, those young safeties. I was pointing to those guys what I was at year 8 learning at the back end of my career being coaches for them. So it was good, man. It was great to be able to go home and to play in front of the home team. And be a part of it, even though I didn't get a chance to really do the most that I wanted to, but it was good to be able to go back home.
Your flag football league.
Yeah,
before we get out of here,
Chosen One Sports. If you don't do it, follow us now. We're expanding and growing quick, man, but sorry about that. Chosen One Sports.
Yeah. So tell us about that. Is it just for the kids? Is it grown up? Like, what is the league?
So we're open to different things, but right now it's from the ages 4 to 18. We do a high school division. And with this high school division, man, we're trying to do some great things and give a lot of people opportunities, from girls getting scholarships to some girls and boys getting scholarships to go to college and different things like that. So we're very heavily involved into the community. It's a great way to keep the parents and stuff involved with the youth sports and also have that NFL logo and brand on them. I didn't find so much joy into it. I started seeing my oldest run around with a Wilcox on the back of his jersey and with the Dallas Cowboys star on. I was like, what? And it just took me in underneath his wings, man. It was just a great feeling, and I want every parent to feel that experience.
Right.
To see your little one and your whoever it is, your family member or whoever is running around and doing something great and bringing everybody together, man. So Chosen One Sports, yes. I'm in Lawrenceville right now in Georgia. We're growing. We're trying to come to Dallas. We got some great things in the making.
Yes, sir.
And my business partner, Chris Spratler, man, he does a great job with me, and we're not afraid of anything, man. We come and we trying to expand and grow and give back to those rurals and those overlooked communities and keep those communities involved, man.
Man, me and Jay got to get out there, man. We got to get out there. And
Yeah,
catch the
so
game,
we
man.
going to
trying to
y'all
get
got some dope leads, man. Let us know.
Shoot. Nah, I'm just saying, just to watch, just to
Okay.
observe and,
Okay.
and show love. Nah, that's dope, man. I love that, man. As far as athletes, I know athletes, you know, y'all always give back to the community. That's one of the things that y'all are very charitable and things like that. Do you have any foundations or anything that you have that people can tap in and donate to?
Yeah, I have the Will 2 Foundation. That's somebody, me and my wife, we came with this idea of the Will 2 Foundation is to always kind of give back and serve. I think there's some things that get overlooked. And I think we always want to kind of get the love, but sometimes we understand that we have to serve to get some places in life. But I have the Will 2 Foundation. It raises awareness for lupus, which I lost my mom to, and then also gives back to rural communities, kind of like where I'm from, and brings spotlight to them and scholarships and different things like that too. So I do have a Will 2 Foundation that gives back to rural communities. It is part of my NFL flag, and it also raises awareness to lupus awareness too.
That's dope. That's dope, man. We definitely support that, and you know we'll leave all that information in the bio if anybody wants to tap in. Do you have any other ventures or anything that you got going on that anybody should know about?
Not right now. My other NFL flag, and my Will 2 Foundation.
Right. The podcast.
The podcast is cooking up. Yep. So stay tuned for that, man, and check us out. Football Forever with Isaac. And we tune in every Tuesday with NFL matchups and different things. And man, so this. Right now, I'm just trying to, like I say, just find my niche and find my purpose and different things like that outside of football. I'm doing some more things in coaching, doing some things in scouting to find those guys that get overlooked and those people that, like I say, there's not a lot of light on them. I want to bring light to them. You know what I'm saying? And just give them the hope and the aspiration that you can do it, no matter how big your goal is or know how many no's you get. Because if I would have started at my first no, I would never been where I'm at now. So just keep going, man. Keep your head high. Stay around good people. Stay in your education, different things like that if you're in school. And man, just stay focused. Like I say, don't let no one person or even your parents tell you no. If it's something you want to go do and push and strive to do it, go do it. And so much tools nowadays from the internet or different things to show you how to get there. And and then whatever you want in life, man, just go get it. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's live, man. And before we get out of here, I want you to drop some game on any up and coming athlete that took your path that is going through the mix. He's getting overlooked, but he's starting to see a little bit of success.
Yeah.
What advice do you lay for that young man?
Yeah. That same burning sensation you got when you get that success, let that magnify and keep pushing you, because that little bit of success can turn into a whole great thing that you never, maybe not even envision. And like I told you, like I say, it's just building those building blocks and laying that foundation. Don't get too old with doing the small things. The small thing is what keep people in the NFL, just say for my instance, to keep the great players to be elite, is just doing the small things over and over and over. And then don't overlook that, man. Don't overlook nothing small that you're doing. Take the highs with it, take the lows with it, because it's a ride. It's just life in general. You're gonna have some highs and you're gonna have some lows. But just take those small, successful building blocks and magnify that. Because it's easy for us to magnify the small stuff. Oh man, I failed here, I did this, they told me no. I can magnify that. And now you done created a whole, let's just say, disease, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, okay, now everything you do is negative. Man, take that small success, that small feeling that you had when you win this and won that, take that and magnify it and focus your lenses on that. Because if I'm a small kid from Cairo, Georgia, with no exploration of being where I'm at now, it's possible. with prayer, keeping faith, sacrifice, discipline, and being different. I advise everybody to be different. My mom taught me that. Man, don't be a follower. Be different, son. Yeah, you may be outcast, and yeah, they may call you lame, they may call you this. So what? My vision of my life for me is my life and my vision that I want to get done. And I'm gonna be special because God made you who you is. You already special. You know what I'm saying? So don't dim your light because you try to fit in with this social media and stuff, man. Be who you is. Because at the end of the day, you a king or you a queen regardless of where you at in life. And that's just my aspiration to a lot of people, man. Just enjoy where you at, embrace it, build on those small successful blocks, man, and go get it. I mean, this world, man. So that's what we're about.
Man, like I say, man, this has been a blessing to have you on the couch, man.
Yes, sir.
You already know I'm a big fan. I seen you hit so many people. Man, fumble that ball. Julio come up off that ball. Yeah, man. Like I say, man, we support everything you do, man.
Appreciate it.
Don't be a stranger. Come back, holler at us.
Yeah,
we gonna
sure,
come out
man.
there, holler at you.
Yeah.
Man, this is the best part, man. JJ. You are a real life street star,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Real life.